Hello, lovely human, Jen Foxbot here. In this video, I will show you how to add speech to any computer application, whether it's AI powered or not. So my dream is to free the human from the desktop because right now our main modes of input for working on the computer are keyboard and mice, and like arbitrary, right? We invented those to input information to the computer. And similarly, we use screens as an output device to see what the heck is happening on a computer. But like, these are inventions. They're arbitrary, or like maybe not arbitrary, but like they were choices. And I'm so excited because with the rise of AI technology, we have more choices available to us. And so like my dream is to be able to use a computer hands-free, and speech is one of the ways that we can do that. Yes! So in this video, I will do a quick overview of how to get started adding speech, both input speech, so like I'm talking to the computer is transcribing or like taking my voice as input, and then also text to speech, so getting the computer to talk back to us. So fun! I will do a quick overview on how to get started, so if you're like impatient like me, hopefully we can do that in under 3 minutes. And then I will spend the rest of the video, the longer portion of the video, walking you through in more detail. So I'll go through the code and call out the different pieces so that you can better understand what is happening under the hood. Okay, so here we go. The quick overview. How do you get started adding speech to your computer applications ASAP? Okay, so first we are going to go to speech to text. I guess I should back up. Okay, so full disclosure, I work at Microsoft, and I am going to highlight one of our tools. But that said, I'm doing this with like outside of my Microsoft hat. And I genuinely really love our cognitive services AI services. So one of those is speech. We also have language, so you could build a real-time translator. Yes, what's up? We also have lots of really rad computer vision models, so basically doing image detection. So if you wanted to, build your own Ring camera or something like that to recognize when there's a package, you could use it, the computer vision, also known as custom vision under Azure, to do that. But we're going to look at speech first because I'm really excited about it. And to do that quickly, if you're lazy like me and you just want to go build things, so go to the speech to text section and then speech to text quick start, boom. Choose your preferred programming language. I like Python. It walks you through the prereqs. You do need an Azure subscription, but you can get one for free. And then you create a speech resource in the Azure portal. And it's very inexpensive. Like I have never spent more than pennies over a given month. Definitely less than $5. So very affordable. You'll set up your environment and then set your environment variables. Keep your keys private and secure, and the way that it walks you through will show you how to do that. And then really, you install the Speech SDK, you copy the code, and you go to your programming environment, and you're off to the races. Or off to the speeches. Yes, okay. So let's take a quick look at how this works. So this is going to be the speech input. Oopsies, spelled it wrong. So, hi, yay, my name is Jen Foxbot, hello. There we go. Okay, so in this case, it's just a quick start sample, so it really just prints the speech that it recognized. So that is where, this is where the magic is happening, lines 18 and 19. So if it recognizes, then just print. But you could do whatever you want. So like if you have a DIY home automation system or Home Assistant or something like that, you could build your own, although I know Home Assistant itself has some really great voice interactivity, so heck yeah, that's rad. But yeah, add that to whatever you want. Go have fun talking to the computer. Okay, so that's text to speech. We also need to do speech to text. There we go. So, oh wait, sorry, that was speech to text. So now we need to do text to speech. And same thing, look at your Python, or I'm looking at Python. you choose your preferred language, but same basic gist. Set your prereqs, set the environment. This one will go faster because you don't have to do that. You can use the same key and region. And then you'll have the SDK downloaded. We might have been looking at this one last time, but yeah, basically the exact same thing. We just look for the quick start and then copy the code, go to your IDE, and then I'm just gonna show you. So you will need to set your environment variables, but once you do that, then you can say like, what do I want the computer to say? I don't know. How now, brown cow.
How now, brown cow?
Okay, it's funny. So one of the things that I really love is there's a ton of different voices to choose from. Our computer is talking to us, right? And so like, unlike us that have a hard time changing our voice, it's possible, but it's difficult, it takes some work. We can pick whatever voice we want. And I really love the multilingual voice because check this out.
Hola, me llamo Jen Foxbot.
It's so great. And then it can also do French. Whoops. Bonjour. Je m'appelle.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Jen Foxbot.
So fun. Oh, it tickles me every time. So the multilingual voice will have that appropriate accent, or I should say maybe like native speaking accent. Whereas if you just choose some of the standard English voices, it's like a very American accent, which like hurts me a little bit personally. Okay, cool. So that was the quick rundown. So now let's back up and go and look at the code in a little bit more detail so you can understand if you need a little bit of help. Okay, so speech input. So we're going to import the libraries that we need to help us handle this example. So we're going to use the OS and .environment libraries to help us pull in our secrets so that we can keep them safe and secure. And then we're going to pull in the Speech SDK to really handle everything else. So yay for SDKs that make it easy to do things like add speech to applications, because it's not trivial. So the first thing that we need to do is really just configure our speech class, I suppose. And so that requires like our access credentials. And then we also need to specify a language. There's a ton of different languages, over 120, I believe, that are supported, which is super rad. So pick whatever language that you would like to work with. You could even set a class of languages, and you could do some fancy coding to say like, hey, if you recognize this language, then speak out in this other language. Do that kind of live translation thing that we saw OpenAI do, which is so rad. And then we're going to set our audio configuration settings. So right now we're just using the default microphone. So like when you open up a video call and it auto chooses the microphone, that's the microphone it's going to be using. But you can change this, obviously. And then we are going to set the speech recognizer class. And so that's really just going to take in the speech configuration settings and then our audio settings as well. And then, and then we need to tell for this sample, like give the user some information, give the human some information about what's going on. So in that case, all right, well, it's going to listen. So speak into your microphone, please. And then we are going to grab the soundbite that is heard for this recognize once async function. So basically, like, it will grab a short clip of the sound that is coming in through the microphone. So if maybe that's a dog barking, or maybe you're performing a very long monologue, or you're having a conversation with a friend and your friend is you're talking back and forth with your friend. So this particular function is only going to grab a single utterance. If you want to get something longer, like your full monologue or the conversation between you and your friend, there are other functions that you can use for that. But for this, we're just going to keep it simple. So you just go look at the SDK for the right function to use. And then once you have some speech, then you're like, all right, did we actually recognize speech? Did we get something that makes sense? And if so, then you're going to print what we recognized. So in that case, I said, so hi, yay, my name is Jen Foxbot, hello. And so that's what it printed to the screen. If there's some error, the rest of these if-elif statements handle those errors. So for example, la 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 boop, boop, boop. Okay, so if you speak some gibberish to it, it's like, what? I don't get this. As it should. Right now it can't understand whale speak yet. But it'll give you that error. And then if there are any issues with like the way that you're calling the speech SDK, or any sort of errors with like, maybe you forgot to set the resource key or something like that, you'll get some errors related to that. So that's helpful with debugging. So that's really the speech input shenanigans. So if you wanted to add this to an existing application, really you would take, well, you could take this whole function and just shove it into your application, and then you would take the output from this function and then pass it to whatever method or whatever else you want to use it with. I will say, you probably need to do some, like if you're doing, for example, if you're doing like some home automation scenario and you want to turn on a light, the human speech is going to be like, turn on a light, right? But you might want to cut that down to the key words that the computer needs to recognize. So like turn on, I guess in that sentence, it's pretty straightforward, like turn on and then what is the light, but you'll probably need to parse that basically, like, okay, so what are we acting on? In that case, it's the light, and what are we doing? We're turning it on. So you'd want to like check and see the state of the light, that sort of thing. You're smart, you figure it out. Okay, so that's the input audio or input speech sample. And the output speech sample is also pretty similar. So this one doesn't have a function defined like this one does, but that's okay. You can just kind of write your own, and then pull that into your application. So same type of thing. We are going to set our secret key and our endpoint, which is basically like the server that we are using to call the speech SDK. Set our configuration settings, and then in this case, this is kind of the different thing here. So we're establishing a voice name, and you can go and see all the lovely voices. There's a ton of different voices for different languages, and they're really, really fun to play around with. Really, really great for translator, or like getting a tutor for a different language. I really like using these for practicing Spanish. Okay, cool. And then once you have your configuration settings, you set up the speech synthesizer, words. Really tripped over that. Talking about speech, I'm having trouble speaking. Classic. Okay, so this one, you just have the speech configuration settings, and it's going to use the default speaker as the audio output. But again, you can change that. Okay, and so then similarly, we want to let the person who's using this know what to do. So, hey, type some text to speak. We grab that and then we pass that to the speech synthesizer, which will basically speak the text unless we get some sort of error. So, for example, if I give it silence or something like that, if I hit the enter button, it's like, there's nothing to say here. So, yeah, so then this part of the if-then statement handles the errors. Okay, that's pretty much it. So you can cobble these together and get both input speech and then have the computer speak out to you. So that is so fun, lots of fun to play around with. If you want to build your own kind of OpenAI, I want to talk to ChatGPT. There's a project called FriendBot that a friend and I did, and you can find it at aka.ms/friendbot. Or you can just go ahead and build your own because you have all of the pieces here. You can use the OpenAI ChatGPT SDK, API. The OpenAI has an API. And then you can merge that with the speech input and speech output to be able to talk to ChatGPT on your own. So cool. Or just use it for whatever fun and silly and useful projects that you want to go build. Please let me know if you have any questions about this. Also, let me know if there's other areas of programming with AI that you want me to get into. Prompt engineering is a whole box of shenanigans. But yeah, happy to help wherever I can, especially helping you build projects that really center what humans need, right? We have a lot of challenges to solve, and tech like this can help us along the way. So I hope that you go and build things that make your life better, more fun, more full of joy, that type of stuff. So yes, let me know if there's other types of things you would like me to cover in this space. And thank you for hanging out with me and spending time with me and learning along with me. I'll see you next time. Bye!